For years, we have seen very big and popular superheroes on the small screen, even before they hit the big screen, like Superman, Batman, or even Captain America, or Spider Man, or the Incredible Hulk, and Wonder Woman. But in 1981, we got this one show that was a superhero show, but it wasn't direct from the comics. What happens when a special education teacher gets a special super suit that would give him some really fun filled superpowers, but but however loses the instruction manual, so he doesn't know much. Easy, you got this show right here, and it's celebrating its 45th anniversary today. Let's talk about the greatest American hero. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and I'm here with a new TV log. Today I'm going to be talking about a very popular TV show. Well, sort of popular, but a cult favorite when it premiered 45 years ago. It's from a, a great man who gave us some great shows. This was still early on in his career, but this was his second attempt of, well, right when he started his production studio. Before he even gave us shows like The A-Team or Hardcastle and McCormick or Riptide or any of those other shows from the 80s and go into the 90s like Silk Stockings, we had this show right here. The show about a special education teacher along with an FBI agent who apparently encounter a bunch of beings from another world. But don't worry, they're just in a UFO. And they send a special kind of the suitcase that features a special super suit that gives the person who wears it special powers. Only except, of course, the guy who gets it, which happens to be the teacher himself, loses the suit's instruction manual. So, believe it or not, I'm going to talk about this great show and the titular character himself. So, now without further ado, I bring to you The Greatest American Hero. The Greatest American Hero was a fun filled sci fi superhero dramedy series created and produced by the late great Stephen J. Cannell. The show was actually produced under his production banner, his second series to be produced under his production banner, that is. The show originally premiered on ABC on this day, March 18th, 1981, originally as a pilot telefilm before it got picked up as a full series. So, the greatest American hero, eh? Well, it's not gonna be that easy though, but yeah, I will tell you this show was pretty fun when I first encountered it. Now, of course, the show originally started out as a pilot telefilm on this day, March 18th, 1981. Then the following week, it got picked up as a full series. Now, what is the show about anyway? Well, I am very glad you asked. The series focuses on a special education teacher named Ralph Hinckley, and it and each week it focuses on his adventures after a group of aliens give him a red and black suit that grants him superhuman abilities. Unfortunately for him, he loses the instruction book and must learn how to use the suit's powers by trial and error, often with comical results. Now, of course, well, it's is actually a factual special education, remedial education for high schools. Yeah, for a remedial education in high school students. That's what Ralph's thing was. Well, during a school trip, Ralph encounters extraterrestrials who give him the suit. And during the encounter, he is also instructed by the aliens to thereafter collaborate with FBI Special Agent Bill Maxwell. Their instructions are to use the suit as a means to fight crime and injustice in the world. Subsequently, attorney Pam Davidson, who handled Ralph's divorce, also encounters the aliens through some coercion. coercion, she eventually agrees on occasion to join Ralph and Bill during missions. There have also been others seen, including four of Ralph's students, Rhonda Blake, Tony Villacana, Siler Johnson, and Paco Rodriguez, plus Bill's FBI supervisor, Les Carlisle. Now the super suit gives Ralph the powers of just about everything. Invulnerability, flight, super strength, invisibility, precognition, telekinesis, X-ray vision, super speed, pyrokinesis, shrinking, psychometry or holographic vision, and even the ability to detect the supernatural. As Ralph lost the suit's instruction manual, his discovery of these different powers is often accidental. Notably, while the suit enables Ralph to fly, it does not endow him with any particular skill at landing, so he frequently crashes in an undignified, though uninjured, heap. In one episode, he displays resistance to fire and or heat and uses super exhalation, which is the ability to blow out a flamethrower or any other large source of fire. He also uses this ability in another episode to extinguish a Molotov cocktail. Incredible, huh? Yeah. Now, the character, of this, Hinckley's hero personnel never received an actual superhero name either. Although, I will say, that in the pilot movie, Ralph sarcastically refers to himself as Captain Crash in reference to his terrible flying ability, and later Captain Gonzo in one episode. And like his character, the man who plays him, who I'm gonna get to in a bit, found the suit very uncomfortable and hated wearing it. The producers made various modifications to the suit to help him and accommodated him by scheduling filming so he would not have to wear it all day during a shoot. Now, the symbol that's on the suit, the front of the suit, is actually based on a pair of scissors that Stephen J. Cannell had on his desk during the design of the uniform. He said that the costume designer asked him what he wanted the suit's chest emblem to look like. He said he had not really thought about it. The designer then picked up the scissors off his desk, held them upside down, and said, "There's your emblem." Cannell was fine with that decision. By coincidence, the symbol on Ralph's uniform resembles the Chinese character for center, like this. You know, as the symbol is red in color with white background, kind of like what we see on a certain little block. But anyway, I gotta say this is so much of a fun show. Now, of course, I will say that they soon had to do something else later on in the series. Because apparently, they also had to do one thing, and that was to change the last name of him one time. But this didn't last too long, though. They changed the last name from Hinckley to Hanley because, of a certain person who tried to shoot President Reagan. But anyway, yes. The show was absolutely a big hit when it premiered. But anyway, the show is well known for its music, which was composed by Mike Post, who also did the music for lots of other TV shows. during the 80s and what have you. Of course, amongst some other shows he had actually done the music for had been, let's see, oh, yes, one of those shows, he had recently done some of the music for Magnum PI, as well as, let's see, as well as Hill Street Blues, which premiered 2 months prior that same year, and lots of other shows. Well, the show's theme song was a pretty popular one called Believe It or Not, which was performed by Joy Scarberry, which eventually that song became a big hit for him, made him a one hit wonder, reaching number 2 on the Billboard chart. But however, it did go, well, but it did go to number 1 on Cashbox and Record World's charts. It also made it to number 3 on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart. The only reason why it failed to reach the top of the Hot 100 was due to Endless Love by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. But overall, I found The Greatest American Hero to be a very fun show. Like I said, this was actually the second show to be produced under Stephen J. Cannell Productions after 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, which came out a few months before that the previous year. But that didn't last too long. This would, however, be the first show where we see the actual Stephen J. Cannell logo, where we're seeing Cannell as typewriter and then throws, tears out the paper, and then, yeah. I'm pretty sure you remember that logo if you were an 80s kid or even a 90s kid, because you know Cannell did produce other shows going into the 90s, aside from other shows he had done after this, which include the A Team, Hardcastle and McCormick, The Rousters, Riptide, 21 Jump Street. Oh, the list goes on. But even so, I found the show to be so enjoyable. Now, in one episode in the third and final season, I am going to say he did find the instruction manual, but however, yeah, he lost it again. But anyway, but I will say that once Hinckley's got his suit on, while Ralph has his suit on, he is just so, yeah. He's a real character too. But anyway, the show did well. It got a second season, which had more episodes than the first season. It went on for a third one, but soon it ended after only some of it aired, and only 5 episodes were unaired. It ended on February 3rd of 1983 after an overall total of 45 episodes were produced and aired over the course of 3 seasons. The show would later get shown in syndication and on cable. It has been seen on numerous channels like Fox Family, pre-Freeform, I'm pretty sure, yes. It was last seen on Sci-Fi. Now, there have been numerous revivals. During 1986, the original principal cast reunited for a pilot movie for The Greatest American Heroine, which was on NBC. But it never got broadcasted. But the pilot was re-edited as an episode of the original series, complete with original opening credits and theme. But however, for of course, we do see the actual title, and of course, we see because the episode's title card is superimposed over a nighttime view of the LA skyline, reading the title of the show before adding the letters to hero with INE event individually to the sound of the NBC chimes. And they were a nod to NBC and its president, Brandon Tartikoff, who had expressed interest in reviving the series. and reveals that several years after the final episode, Ralph's secret identity was finally revealed to the public, resulting in his becoming a celebrity. This angers the aliens who gave him the suit, and they charge him with finding a new hero to wear the costume and use its power to fight evil. Well, he apparently finds a young woman named Holly Hathaway, an elementary school teacher who spends her off hours time looking for lost kittens, raising environmental awareness, and serving as a foster mother. So they give her the suit. Anyway, there have been thoughts of a reboot, but however, it didn't happen, unfortunately. However, there would be comics that followed. So you gotta give it credit for that. The show later did get released on physical media, first by Anchor Bay Entertainment in 2005, but and then the following year a complete series came out in 2006. In 2010, though, Mill Creek Entertainment got the rights to the Stephen J. Cannell Library and released a complete series set and re-released the first season. And then season 2 got re-released, but season 3 never got a re-release. It has been re-released new. Well, the complete series would be re-released, but in the next year, 2011, the Greatest American Heroine TV movie got released on physical media. In 2017, the Greatest American Heroes complete series got re-released again. Now, Shout Factory has acquired the distribution rights to this and The Greatest American Heroine, along with several other Stephen J. Cannell series in March of 2020, right about the time the pandemic struck. Recently, in June of 2022, Visual Entertainment re-released the complete series again. Yeah, the series was re-released again, but this time by Visual Entertainment. Now, this set you can find for a reasonable price. Now, some of these DVDs, well, they're out. Some are out of print, but I think you can still find them for a fair price or an okay price. But if you found a recent, the re-release from Visual Entertainment, then I'd say that's a set you may want to get since that was recently released. And that's your best chance of finding it. But if you can't find this series, no problem. The series can be streamed on numerous streaming services. You can find the series on Prime Video, Tubi, YouTube, and lots of other services. So you'll have no trouble finding this show. But anyway, now Mike Post actually composed the theme song for this along with Stephen Geyer. They both did an exceptionally good job. Now then, Now, before I go into this, Ralph Hinckley was the actual name, but after the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley, spelled Hinkley, because Ralph Hinckley did not have Ralph's original name did not have a C after between the N and K, which happened on March 30th, shortly after the series had started. The character's last name was hurriedly changed to Hanley in a couple episodes. But sometimes the character was referred to generally as Ralph or Mr. H, which that was perfectly fine. For the cast we have playing Ralph is William Katt, who this was about 5 years after he starred in the original Carrie. And of course, he did the film House and also lots of other shows and movies. I gotta admit, he does a great job in playing Ralph. He does a great job. Playing Bill Maxwell is Robert Culp, who most people would know best as Kelly Robinson of I Spy fame. And of course, he went on to appear on numerous sitcoms and other shows and movies. I had to give him credit. While his superior, Les Carlisle, is played by the late great William Bogert, who recently had appeared on an episode of The Facts of Life's first season where he played Molly Ringwald's character's dad. He'd later be known as Brandon Brindle on Small Wonder after this. Playing Pam is Connie Sellecca, who does a great job. For the students, we have Faye Grant as Rhonda Blake, Michael Perry as Tony Villacana, Jesse D. Goins as Siler Johnson, and Don Cervantes as Paco Rodriguez. So you got to admit the characters on this show are absolutely very, very good. So let me give you one last glance at some of the characters. Now here's an actual look of the core cast of 3 with Ralph in his suit. Now you see what the logo on, well, the emblem looks like on front of the super suit. Now, if you're into real funny stuff or superhero shows, maybe like the Batman TV series, now I think you're gonna feel right at home with the Greatest American Hero. I think you'll really like it if you give it a shot. Believe me, this show is very easy to find. I would recommend you also listen to the full song of Believe It or Not. You can find the full song on YouTube as well. So it's really something. It's pretty good and what have you. So, like I said, if you can't afford the DVD, then stream it. Like I said, the full series, excuse me, is on YouTube, Tubi, Prime Video. Just about every service has it. Seriously. Anyway, what? So now you know about the Greatest American Hero. What did you think of this show? Did you ever grow up watching the Greatest American Hero? If so, tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, which actually it's a solo re-review. So if you like this, check out some of these other vids. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my revisited TV log on Batman that I did earlier this year. Or you can go to the upper right-hand corner and see my TV log for a show Stephen J. Cannell actually did just even before The Greatest American Hero had gotten, right about the time The Greatest American Hero got canceled. Well, it came out a week before, in the A-Team. Or if you would like maybe another superhero show, then check out my revisited Saturday morning TV log on Shazam from 1974. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.